Thank you, Mark, and a big hello from London. A busy and interesting week last week, and also for the start of this week, as we had the monthly patterns for March to look at. So I'll start with the weekly patterns, and we had weekly key reversals down in both the NASDAQ Composite and also the NASDAQ 100 indexes, as well as the Russell 2000 index and the Flex Semiconductor index. We did see a follow-on lower to all these this past Monday, but the composite recovered and finished yesterday back within last week's range, as did the 100, though not so much for the Russell 2000 and the Flex Semiconductor index. There is still a steward's inquiry over all of these recoveries this week. A more interesting development had been last week's weekly key reversal down in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin had pushed down to reach the primary target X down in the 82,400 zone. This was for the break lower from the recent March-based ascending wedge pattern. It still left a secondary hard to reach target below in the 74,170 zone, but we have not seen a follow-on lower this week here, but rather recovery back up within last week's range, though we do have some pretty significant resistances not far above, stretching from 86,500 up to 89,000. Similarly, in Ethereum, we have seen a recovery back into last week's range, though also not convincingly. In the currencies, there was only one in the markets I watch, a weekly key reversal up in euro against Romanian lei, which has been very underwhelming this week. Over to the commodities, and we had a weekly key reversal down in the Brent gas oil spread last week, which has seen nothing happen this week other than prices play around within last week's range. A more interesting development, and this is a continuing development, was the weekly key reversal down we had in both London coffee futures and in New York coffee futures. This week has seen an initial follow-on lower on Monday and the start of Tuesday, but by the end of yesterday, prices had recovered, back within last week's range. We've seen a further move higher at the start of today, but the move up has been tempered somewhat, and we seem to be heading lower again. There's definitely one to watch after last week's binary actions. I cover both these more fully in my coffee futures video commentary, which was out this past Monday. Onto the metals here, and we had a dichotomy in two LME metals here. A weekly key reversal down in LME 3-month copper, and at the same time a weekly key reversal up in LME 3-month tin. LME 3-month copper has seen a follow-on lower this week, but this is within a well-trodden bullish Andrews pitchfork that has successfully run the market here higher since February. I covered this more fully in my weekly metals video commentary, which came out yesterday. Meanwhile, in LME 3-month tin, that had a weekly key reversal up last week, just underneath the recent high of the market. It looked like prices threatened to create a March-based double top pattern, but no. We have seen a follow-on higher to highs not seen since 2022. Pushed upwards by a combination of two bullish shift pitchfork patterns and one bullish Andrews pitchfork pattern. I also cover this more fully in my weekly metals video commentary that came out yesterday. We also saw a weekly key reversal up in Chicago soybean futures last week. We saw a pretty impressive follow-on higher this week, though this is still within a wide range dating from July last year through to now. I detail this more fully in my weekly oilseeds and video commentary. That's out tomorrow. Finally, in the commodities, we had a weekly key reversal down in EEX butter futures last week, which has seen really neither a follow-on lower or a reaction higher this week so far. I'd like to finish the weeklies with two for the TikTok meme generation out there. We had weekly key reversals down last week in both GameStop, which is GME, and in AMC stocks. AMC has seen a continuation lower this week, but GameStop, well, it started to head lower on Monday, has recovered back up within last week's range. Now this last one is interesting, as we also saw a monthly key reversal down for GameStop in March. So I'll be watching this one closely as we work through April. So we are now onto the monthly patterns, and possibly the most interesting of all these. In the UK FTSE futures, which had a monthly key reversal down in March, we've already seen a follow-on lower into April, with the possibility that the whole February to March action could be a diamond top pattern. We also had a monthly key reversal up in March in live cattle futures, but so far, and it is early days on such a longer term pattern, we have not seen much of a follow-on higher, but it is, as I said, early days. Finally, we had a monthly key reversal up in March in the Baltic Dirty Tanker Index. This, much like live cattle, is hesitating these first few days of April after a significant run-up, but it's still early days and there might be one to watch. As always, I'm happy to answer any direct questions with anyone who's interested, and with that I'll finish this section from London, and I hope you found these comments useful.
Thank you for listening and watching this broadcast. This weekly broadcast gives the essential market patterns and consequences. Please be aware of the risk disclaimer posted both at the front and at the back of this broadcast. The copyright is Eddie Tofpik and ADM Investor Service International Limited. And here comes the final important bit.